about the miracle of the splitting of the moon, addendum to the 19th and 31st words, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, the hour is nigh, and the moon is split. But if they see a sign, they turn away and say, "This is evident magic." Quran, chapter 54, verses 1 and 2. Philosophers and their unreasoning imitators who want to eclipse with their vicious delusions the splitting of the moon, which is a miracle of Muhammad, upon whom be peace, that shines like the moon, say, if the splitting of the moon had occurred, it would have been known to the whole world and would have been related throughout the subsequent history of man. The answer: since the splitting of the moon was demonstrated as an evidence of prophethood, and happened instantaneously at night when people were asleep, and before a gathering who, although they witnessed such an evidence, denied it. And since there were obstacles hindering the sighting of it, such as mist clouds and time differences between different parts of the world, and since at that time science and civilization were not widespread, and observation of the skies was very limited, and the event itself was exceptional, there was, therefore, nothing to necessitate that it should have been seen all over the world and been recorded in the general histories. For now, listen to 5 points out of many that will scatter those clouds of delusion concerning the splitting of the moon. First point: the extreme stubbornness of the unbelievers there at that time is well known and is recorded in history. And yet, when the all-wise Quran announced this event to the whole world through saying, "And the moon is split," Quran chapter 54 verse 1, not one of those unbelievers who denied the Quran spoke up to give the lie to this verse. That is, not one of them denied the event it was announcing. If the event had not been considered a definite fact by the unbelievers, they would have made the verse a pretext, denied it strenuously, and tried to attack and nullify Muhammad's, upon whom be peace, claim to prophethood. However, the biographies of the Prophet, upon whom be peace, and histories mentioning the event relate nothing to suggest that the unbelievers denied it. The only thing that history relates is, as the verse, "And they say, this is evident magic," Quran chapter 54 verse 2, points out the unbelievers who saw the event declared it to be magic, and said that if the caravans in other places had seen it, it was true, otherwise he had bewitched them. The caravans arriving the following morning from the Yemen and other places announced that they had seen such a happening. So the unbelievers said of the pride of all the worlds, upon whom be peace, that God forbid the magic of Abu Talib's orphan had affected the heavens. Second point: the majority of the most illustrious scholars, like Sa'd al-Din Taftazani, declared that, like the Prophet, upon whom be peace, had satisfied the thirst of a whole army with water flowing from his fingers, and the whole congregation had heard a dry wooden post, against which he had leant while delivering the sermon, weep on being separated from him. The splitting of the moon had been transmitted by numerous authorities. That is to say, these events had been passed down from group to group, forming such a vast congregation that a conspiracy to lie would have been impossible. Like the appearance of the famous Halley's Comet 1,000 years ago had been unanimously reported, and the existence of the island of Ceylon was certain because of the unanimous reports concerning it, although we had not seen it. It is therefore unreasonable to foster baseless doubts about such certain witnessed matters. It is enough that they are not impossible. And as for the splitting of the moon, it is quite as possible as a mountain splitting with a volcanic eruption. Third point: miracles are for proving claims to prophethood, and for convincing those who deny such claims. They are not for compelling people to believe. They have therefore to be shown to those who hear such claims to an extent that will persuade them. It would be contrary to the all-wise and glorious one's wisdom to display them all over the world, or in so self-evident a manner that everyone would be compelled to believe. It would also be contrary to the mystery of man's accountability. For this requires opening the door to the reason without cancelling the power of choice. If the all-wise Creator had left the moon split apart for a couple of hours so as to show it to the whole world as the philosophers wished, and it had been recorded in all the general histories of mankind, then it would have been like all other occurrences in the heavens, and would not have been an evidence for Muhammad's, upon whom be peace, claim to prophethood, nor been special to it. Or else it would have been so self-evident a miracle that it would have annulled the reason's power to choose and compelled it to accept it. It would have had to assent to his prophethood. People with coal-like spirits like Abu Jahl would have remained on the same level as people with diamond-like spirits like Abu Bakr the Voracious. The mystery of man's accountability would have been lost. It was due to this mystery that, being both instantaneous and at night time and at a time of sleep, and due to time differences, mist and cloud and other factors concealing it, it was not shown to the whole world and did not pass into the histories. Fourth point. Since this event occurred instantaneously at night while everyone was sleeping, of course it was not seen all over the world. Even if some people had seen it, they would not have believed their eyes. And if it had made them believe, such a significant event would not have become lasting material for future histories due to isolated individual reports. In some books it is written that after the moon split into two halves, it fell to earth, but voracious scholars have rejected such additions, saying that they were perhaps added by dissemblers with the intention of disparaging this evident miracle and depreciating it. Also, in England and Spain, which were then enveloped in mists of ignorance, the time it occurred would have been just after sunset. In America, it would have been daytime, and in China and Japan, morning. Elsewhere, there would have been other obstacles preventing it from being seen. Now consider those unreasoning objectors who say that the histories of peoples like the English, Chinese, Japanese, and Americans do not mention it, and that therefore it did not occur. 1,000 curses be on the heads of those who toady to Europe and repeat such things. Fifth point, the splitting of the moon happened neither of its own accord due to certain causes, nor as a result of chance, nor was it a natural event that occurred through the ordinary laws of nature. It was, rather, something out of the ordinary, which the all-wise Creator of the sun and the moon caused to happen in order to confirm his messenger's messengership and to illuminate his claim. As required by the mysteries of guidance and human responsibility and the wisdom of prophethood, it was shown as a convincing proof to a number of people specified by dominical wisdom. The mystery of wisdom required that it was not shown to people in every region of the world who had not yet heard of Muhammad's, upon whom be peace, claim to prophethood. Numerous obstacles prevented them, therefore, such as mist, cloud, and time differences, and the fact that in some countries the moon had not risen, and in others the sun had risen, while in others it was morning, and in yet others the sun had just set. If it had been shown to all and sundry, it would have been shown as a sign of Muhammad, upon whom be peace, and a miracle of his prophethood, in which case his messengership would have been so obvious that everyone would have been compelled to affirm it. Human reason and will would have been cancelled, and belief is attained through the faculties of reason and will. Human responsibility and accountability would have been nullified. If it had been shown merely as an occurrence in the heavens, its connection with Muhammad's, upon whom be peace, messengership would have been cut, and there would have been nothing about it that pertained to him. To conclude, no doubt remains concerning the possibility of the splitting of the moon, it has been proved decisively. Now we shall mention 6 of the many evidences pointing to its occurrence. The concurrence of the prophets, upon whom be peace, companions, who were all men of justice, on its occurrence. The agreement of all exacting commentators on the Qur'an in their explanations of the verse, and the moon is split. The fact that, relying on numerous different chains of authorities and lines of transmission, all the scholars of the prophetic traditions and transmitters of the sound narrations narrated the event. The testimony of all the saints and the veracious, those who receive inspiration and uncover the mysteries of the creation. The confirmation of learned scholars and theologians whose ways differ greatly from one another. The fact that Muhammad's, upon whom be peace, community accepted its occurrence, which on an established principle never agrees upon error. These 6 evidences prove the splitting of the moon as clearly as the sun. Conclusion. Up to here, this addendum has aimed to establish the truth and to silence those enemies who deny it. The following sentences speak in the name of the truth and for the sake of belief. In the former, establishing the truth spoke. Now the truth speaks. The seal of the Office of Prophethood, who was the luminous moon of the heavens of messengership, proved his sainthood through his ascension. It was his greatest wonder and the supreme miracle of sainthood, achieved through his worship, which was so elevated as to make him God's beloved. That is to say, by travelling with his earthly body through the heavens, his superiority and his being God's beloved were demonstrated to the dwellers of the heavens and inhabitants of the lofty worlds. So too, through the moon, which is bound to the earth and suspended in the heavens, being split into 2 halves at the sign of an earth-dweller, it displayed a miracle to the other inhabitants of the earth, which indicated the former's messengership. Thus, the person of Muhammad, upon whom be peace, flew to the peak of perfections on the 2 luminous wings of messengership and sainthood, like the 2 luminous unfolded wings of the moon. He ascended to the distance of 2 bow lengths. He became the cause of pride of the dwellers of both the heavens and the earth. Upon him and upon his family be blessings and peace, such as will fill the earth and the heavens. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save that which you have taught us. Indeed, you are all-knowing, all-wise.